Hello and welcome to the newest show on our network, the Anime Roundup. I'm Trey.
I'm Chase.
And I'm Patrick.
And we've watched some anime this week.
Yes, we have.
Who wants to start us off in our anime discussion here?
Pat, you start us off.
Okay. So I've been watching Iron Blood Orphans.
It's a great show.
Been watching it for a while. Most people who've been tuning in pretty regularly know that me and Andrew are watching it currently, and we're attempting to finish it by a specific date that we have talked about.
Yes.
So I'm still loving this anime. Every single episode is literally just giving me everything that I want every episode. And I have a new favorite character.
Okay.
It's Ein.
Ein's great.
Ein's a good character.
I don't want to say too much because I know Andrew's watching it, and if he decides to tune into this episode, I might say something depending on where he is.
He can just skip timestamp. You're good.
Yeah. I've seen the part where Ein basically dies.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's actually dead yet or not because they're attempting to heal him because Mikazuki basically destroyed him.
Ein's had a rough life, man.
Yeah, that's why I like Ein. I didn't really get his character at first until they fully went into that whole segment where they talked about his past and why he's fighting at this point and why he hates Tekkadan so much. And man, his character is just emotional for me. And I sit there and I'm just like, I feel for you so much. And I know that you're technically the bad guy, but I want you to succeed just because of what you're going through. That's rough.
Ein was one of my favorite characters up until season 2 when I fell in love with another character instead.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
My favorite character was in it. My favorite character is Akihiro.
Yeah. Your favorite character was in from episode 1.
Yes.
I don't blame you. He's a really awesome character as well. And
also later on he gets a lot more development that I think helped his character.
That's good. I'm really excited to see more because I'm not trying to say Mikazuki and Orga aren't great characters because they are.
Oh yeah.
But I'm stupid interested in other characters.
That's
as well.
Gundam, baby.
Yeah. Biscuit to me is still right now he's my second favorite character because to me Biscuit's story is just amazing. And then Ein took the lead a little bit for me. The part where Biscuit and Orga get into that argument, that was huge. That was like a wall to the face, running right into a wall. Because I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting him to do the same thing he's done this whole time, which is just stand behind Orga and just be there, you know?
Yeah.
And that was the first moment that the two of them really differed in opinion, and it was almost hard to watch.
Well, also is one of the first times anybody in Tekkadan's really questioned
stood up to Orga,
what Orga is doing.
Yeah,
that's true. Which again, to me, was actually hard to watch because you could tell Orga just really wanted. He had that idea already, and he just really wanted someone to just stand behind him and reassure him that he was making the right decision. And
Biscuit didn't agree.
And he's like, "I'm leaving," and I was like, "No, my favorite character's leaving." And then you have one of my favorite characters. So it's been really interesting. If you haven't seen it, I really highly recommend it, even if you don't like Gundam, because I firmly believe now, based off of this one Gundam series I've been watching, that Gundam is not in any way about giant robots.
See, that's that's my thing, man. And Chase, I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit with what he's been watching as well. But there are some moments in Gundam where you leave the main characters behind for a while, and you just find out that, hey, the bad guys aren't evil. They're just trying to do what they think is right as well. And it's so often in anime, you get this moment of, here's the good guy, and here's the bad guy, and he's evil because he loves being evil.
I say I will bring, as much as Trey loves those bad guys.
I do. I absolutely do.
Those are some of Trey's favorite.
It is my favorite type of bad guy. Dio Brando.
He's
got no reason to be evil. He just is, and he loves it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely talk about that some more.
That's understandable. But I can tell that, like, especially the part with, like, Biscuit's brother.
Yeah. And
the message that he leaves for him. Oh, man, that was so emotional. That hit me hard, too, because I'm sitting here like, you can tell, you can obviously see the effect that their lifestyle is having on them at a young age.
Yes.
Yeah, because it does the same thing that Fullmetal. Sorry to interrupt you. It does the same thing that Fullmetal Alchemist did for me, where like a little bit in the show, I kind of don't like keep in my head like, hey, these are kids.
Yeah. Because they're having to tackle adult problems.
Yeah, and then every now and then you'll just get reminded, hey, by the way, this person's like 15, and then you're like, oh wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about this anime is it doesn't give you, in my opinion, and one of the ways it succeeds is that I have yet to sit back and forget that they're children.
Yeah.
Because the entire time there's something small, whether or not it's obvious, there's something small that reminds you like these guys are still kids. Like
Kudelia teaching Mikazuki how to read.
Yeah, that was a perfect example of how, in my opinion, this anime is really successful in showing what kind of damage and fatigue that this lifestyle is putting on them.
Mm-hmm. That's a big running theme in like all of Gundam too. Is just being talked about. It's just like child soldiers. Like, hey, here you go.
Because that's what happens in actual war. Like, of course, it would happen in the Gundam world.
Exactly, but I feel like it's almost as if they were attacking it head on and trying to exemplify it more to show that it's a problem.
Yeah.
I don't have to go too much more into it, I don't think. I honestly, because I'm still watching it and y'all have already seen it, it's kind of hard for y'all to talk too much about it, I'm sure.
Yes,
yes, it is. I'm real bad about slipping up sometimes where I'm just like, oh, well, this guy, and then I'm like, oh, wait, no. Because to me, it's already all happened, where to you, you might not have got to that part yet.
I'm very excited for you to finish it.
Oh, me too. So I'm gonna go ahead and end like with this part of what I have to talk about for this week, saying that I'm really happy that I took a step out of my comfort zone to watch this anime.
Yeah.
Because in every way that I needed it to succeed, as far as being an anime as a whole, it's done that and more. And it's shown me that I don't have to watch the same type of stuff to get the same satisfaction that I get from shows that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Now, to talk about, that was a show that I enjoyed. But this next one is not one that I enjoyed very much at all.
I have a lot of questions about this show.
I have a lot of questions also. So the show that I yes and no. I'm gonna go about it this way. So the show is called DS Irae.
Yeah, based on a Latin hymn.
Yes. If you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and read what the description says, so that way whenever I start saying certain things, y'all don't like kind of like get caught off guard by what I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead, hit me with it.
It says, Ren Fuji is a normal student who just had a fist fight with his former best friend, leading him to break off their friendship. But with the help of his childhood friend, Kasumi Iyase, and upperclassman Rei Himuro, he's gradually returning to his normal school life. Then a series of brutal murders in which the victims are decapitated begins to strike their city. Strangely, at the same time, Ren starts to have terrifying nightmares of being beheaded by a guillotine. But these are just a prelude to the painful and terrifying battles to come.
Okay.
So this description is not the description that I read online. Whenever I went to the list that you provided for us, Trey, it gave a very different...
I have that synopsis in front of me. You want me to read that synopsis?
Please do, because I honestly think that the two of these are completely different.
On May 1st, 1945 in Berlin, as the Red Army raises the Soviet flag over the Reichstag... I'm sorry. Let me try this again. I'm German. I should be able to pronounce this word. Reichskanzler, a group of Nazi officers conduct a ritual. For them, the slaughter in the city is nothing but the perfect ritual sacrifice in order to bring back the order to the 13 lances. A group of spearmen whose coming would bring the world's destruction. Years later, no one knows if this group of officers succeeded or whether they lived or died. Few know of their existence, and even those who knew begin to pass away as the decades fade.
So, how similar do those sound to you guys?
They're pretty different.
Well, the second part of the synopsis is what you talked about. The first part is...
Yeah, the years later, no one knows.
Now in December, in the present day... In
oh yeah, you're looking at it too?
Friend Fuji spends his day at the hospital. Socks just fell off my bookshelf.
It has been 2 months since the incident that brought him to the hospital, a fight with his friend Shiro Yusa. That's very close to Shiro Yasha. I see what you guys did there. Where they almost tried to kill each other. He tries to value what he has left to him, but every night he sees the same dream, a guillotine, murders who hunt people, and the black-clothed knights who pursue the murderers. He is desperate to return to his normal everyday life, but even now he hears Shiro's words. Everyone who remains in the city eventually loses their minds. So, hold on. Because all three of those give me an idea of a completely different show.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about the pilot, shall we?
Yeah, tell me about the show, Patrick. Because now I have to watch it, too.
I've watched the pilot, and I was halfway through the first official episode. Okay. I haven't finished it yet. The pilot starts off in Germany.
Okay.
And there is a floating demonic castle in the sky that's glowing very gold. And there's a man standing on it with a red armband. It's not a swastika. It looks different. I don't know.
He's probably a member of the Order of the Seven Lances, I would guess.
It looks like a transmutation circle.
Yeah, it kind of does.
But he's obviously dressed as a Nazi. You can tell that's what he is. They literally talk about like Hitler, basically.
He's probably a different division. They use the same uniforms, but different emblems on their bands.
And so the pilot, there's a guy that apparently they consider him a mage, and he can see the future.
But and he be a seer, not a mage.
I don't know what to tell you, Trey. I don't know what to tell you, man.
You can't mix up your divisions of magic users here.
So the guy can see the future, and he said, I won't tell you what happens, but I'll guide you to it. And the other guy, the main person that's in this pilot, who you assume is going to be the main character of the show, is walking around like a big old tough guy, and all of these people are like basically bowing to him, and everything seems kind of normal except for obviously the flying castle in the sky. And then out of nowhere, like not even like a hint or like a slow gradual change, they just immediately flash to the scene where this guy is like fighting a bunch of people, and like, well, no, actually I lied. It skips to a scene where two people are, they're doing the dance with no pants.
Okay.
You can't see anything, of course.
Yeah.
It's very obvious.
You will be able to on the Blu-ray, I'm sure.
And then you hear screaming from the guy, and he is running away. You see his butt cheeks, and there's a big blade, like right in the middle of his back. And there's this girl that's laying there with like white tape around her eye, okay. And she's just sitting there laughing, and then sets the building on fire, and this dude that's outside is just like killing people for no reason. So and the two of them start fighting.
I've done some digging.
Superpowers.
I've done some digging while you're talking, and I figured out what the problem is. This series is based on a visual novel.
Okay.
Which means that no holds barred. They can go from scenery to time, era, wherever they want to go, at will, basically.
Well, they definitely did it in this pilot, because these two people are they have powers, and they're fighting, and then the tough guy and these two girls with swords go out and meet them, and then two girls with swords are fighting, and they're trying to like fend off these two superhumans. And then the big Nazi dude walks up and just like punches one of them in the face and kills him, and then punches the girl in the eye and like literally like sticks his finger in her eye socket
It seems
to
like a
kill
bad
her.
time.
It was very brutal. And then he stands there looking all cool, and that's how they end the pilot. They didn't explain anything. They didn't tell you why these people have powers. And then the OP was awful. It was absolutely awful. The music was really weird. I didn't like the song. The ED was even worse.
Uh-oh.
Because it shows all of this stuff, and apparently there's like one lady that's a spider, and like her secret power is a spider, and like another one is a snake, and then like one guy, the main character, apparently can be like the video game prototype and just grow a big blade on his arm.
So yeah, this is based on a visual novel, most likely marketed to fans of the visual novel, because people that had played the visual novel obviously would know what's going on.
Yeah, there's no description of anything. And then the first episode, like I said, I've watched about 15 minutes of it. It's just Fuji walking around in school. It starts off with him fighting his friend or whatever, and then he's in the hospital. Still nothing's explained about what we just saw in the pilot.
Oh no, that's what the final episode's for.
That makes sense, I'm sure. So I'm still confused, but apparently he can like see stuff. And he walks up to this guillotine, and the spirit comes out of it that only he can see.
Yeah,
and like
that's very
like consumes his soul. And then he wakes up in his bed. Dude, I'm confused. And
the main voice actor in this anime is played in like Gundam Age.
Yeah, no, it seems like there's a lot of money being thrown behind it. Yeah. So my thing is, I can already see 4 or 5 different genres it's inspired by, and I have a question to both of you. There is another anime also based on a visual novel that tried a completely different tactic. It's called Fate Zero. And episode 1 of Fate Zero is an info dump.
Yeah.
There's no action. It's literally a guy basically talking to the screen, telling you what's going on. So that the rest of the episodes, you don't need anybody trying to explain anything. You're just going. Patrick, do you think this would have been better with an info dump? Or do you think an info dump episode would have turned you off from it right off the bat?
Because of the way that I intended on watching this, the info dump would have been perfect. Because I told myself I was going to watch at least 2 episodes.
Okay.
And
so then you would have got the info dump and then the action afterwards.
Exactly. And then I would have started either being turned on by the show or turned off by the show. And the action in this show seems really cool. And it seems like this animation is really good. But I don't understand anything. And that's my main problem with this whole anime right now, is that I'm sitting here watching something that makes no sense. Especially after the pilot. Especially after reading the synopsis, then reading Crunchyroll synopsis, and then watching the pilot, and then watching episode 1.
So I
have never been more confused.
You can absolutely pull that kind of thing off, where you have multiple different timelines going at the same time, and you're slowly getting information about all of them. Baccano does that, and it's amazing. It's one of the best anime I've ever seen, because at all times you are jumping from timelines to character POVs to getting everything that's going on, but Baccano does take the time to explain some things. And yes. I don't think you have to explain things to have a good show. Like, for instance, Durarara has a bunch of... It's all about the mysteries. And so they don't explain things until after they figure out the mysteries.
Durarara was super confusing at first when I first started watching it.
Absolutely. But you eventually catch up. The thing is, if a show isn't going to explain anything, it needs to actually hook you with something.
And see, my main issue right now is not that like the action's not cool or like the way that they're going about the show isn't cool. It's just I don't understand why I'm interested because I want to know what's going on. I want to be able to understand, but at the same time I'm disinterested because, like I said, to have 2 different synopses that basically tell you 2 completely different things.
Yeah.
And then have a pilot that doesn't sound like it sounds like the first synopsis, but not the second synopsis. And then the first episode is not even in the same setting. It's just completely like off the wall, something different. That's what my problem is. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on.
So you gonna keep watching it, or are you gonna call it there?
I'm gonna go ahead and watch this episode. Finish this episode. I'm gonna watch episode 2 because that's where it's at right now. And if I finish episode 2 and I don't like it still, or I'm still confused, I'm gonna stop.
So we'll check back in with you for sure for that, but next week.
Yeah, next week you will have an answer.
Chase, do you want to go next, or do you want me to?
I can go next.
Okay.
So yeah, been watching original Gundam, trying to get finished with that. Let me look here. I think I'm 16 episodes in.
Okay.
So I still got a while to go because I think it's like 45 or something.
I think it's 43.
43, somewhere around there. And yeah, like I was telling Pat, it definitely keeps up with the child war thing because even Irae, or the child soldier thing, because even Irae is not that old in this.
No, I think he's 15.
Yeah.
No, he's 16. I'm sorry, he's 16.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And he read the manual for the Gundam, and now he's been just kind of dragged into it, going against the Red Comet himself.
That's crazy.
Char Aznavour.
How you liking Char so far?
I like Char a lot. He seems a little scummy.
Yeah?
With what he did with Garma.
But man, they're best friends. What are you talking about? He wouldn't do anything there.
Yeah. I wonder how that dirt got on there. On that radio. But I really like it. It's definitely it's different seeing a Gundam that's not melee focused.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to Barbados.
Yeah.
And Granddaddy Gundam's definitely not melee focused.
I feel like Gundam has a really good mix of that. In things like Seed, like regular Seed towards the end was very range focused, but before that was very melee focused.
Mm-hmm.
And then stuff like Destiny is almost entirely range focused.
Yeah.
But then you have stuff like G Gundam, which is mainly melee focused.
Yeah, and the progression so far in the story is really good. Like, it might seem like they're just kind of like flying around getting into stuff. But I mean, I've already seen the crew like progress and stuff like that. Like Bright's gotten better.
Yep.
Obviously, Amuro's gotten better with the Gundam.
Even down to just like Mirai at the helm.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How you feel about... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, what's up?
I was going to say, how you feel about Kai Shiden?
Kai Shiden. Isn't he the one that blows the hole in the ship?
Yep, he's the one that Sayla called a coward in the first episode.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he goes out and he's like, "They're shooting at me." What? Because he's always messing with like Amuro because he's always like, fighting's not that hard. And then he goes out one time and he's like, "Oh, they're shooting at me." And it's good. I like Kai a little bit. He's gotten better.
Yeah, I love Kai, man.
He's definitely getting better. At first, I didn't like him. Nobody liked him on the ship.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Better. I feel like Amuro's getting fed up with Frau.
Yeah. Amuro?
Amuro,
did you change your underwear today?
Did you eat today, Amuro? You have to eat while it's still hot.
He's like, I'm trying to save all of our lives right now, Frau.
What are you working on? I'm working on the support computer for Gundam. You have to eat, Amuro. You really need to work on that? Well, if I want to live, yeah, I do.
Do you want to live, Frau?
Because if I go down, the whole ship's going down. And then you get I like the little sprinkle of like Amuro fought that small troop of Zeons that only had the one Zaku.
Yeah.
Who was the pilot?
Doan.
Doan, yeah. And that was pretty cool. They were trying to take Gundam out with like planting bombs on it.
Yep.
Because I mean, there's no way they can fight it. They have one Zaku. But I really like it. I'm looking forward to finishing it so I can move on to Zeta, which I've watched a little bit of also.
You haven't mentioned the best thing about original Gundam, though.
What's up?
Sha!
Oh, the cut-in thing? where it's like playing the drums or whatever. It's like,
yeah.
Sha!
They call those eye catches.
Yeah.
They used to be there for commercial breaks.
Yeah, I like it. I miss those because I don't see those ever anymore.
Yeah.
I definitely love the OP.
Oh, yeah.
Amaro.
Tobey Gundam is amazing.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch that eventually.
The ED is good, too.
It's real good.
Yeah, you just gotta get used to, like, it's old. Like, you can tell it's old, but I think it holds up personally, but that's just me. I'm not really super worried about the animation.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, the ED and the OP are both real good.
Amaro. Don't turn around, Amaro.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll get that done soon, so I can move on. Kind of hard to get it in during work, but and then Two Car is.
Oh man, we got to talk about Two Car.
Yeah, one of the shows. Did you watch any of it? Because you said you were gonna.
Yep, I watched a whole episode.
What'd you think?
Okay, so the first, we might as well just cover it together here.
Yeah.
The first half of the episode I really enjoyed. The introduction of all the characters, even though they were just cliches, really.
Yeah.
Like, I still thought they were cool, interesting-looking characters. I hate the main characters so much.
Yeah, I did not enjoy them.
Like, I'm looking at... okay, yeah, we should do that.
Yeah, so what it's about is a bunch of college kids, right? Mostly it's girls. Like,
yeah, they're all girls.
Girls.
Except for one guy.
Yeah, and... Yeah.
And he's the coach. He's not even their age.
Yeah. And so they're doing sidecar racing where you have one person that's like in the sidecar and apparently they help with like balance and turns and stuff. And then you got the actual person driving. And
I felt like the start of the episode did a really good job of selling me on why they needed a sidecar. Because I went into it going, give me a reason why there needs to be two people doing this.
Yes. They did explain it well.
My biggest problem was that they showed me, first off, the episode starts with the announcer team, and you get to see who they really are before the cameras go live. And then the alternate personalities they have when the cameras are rolling. I was like, I love these characters already.
Yeah, the announcers were good.
And then they slowly introduce you one by one, like in a pair.
Yeah, one team at a time.
And all of those teams, except for the twins, were super interesting to me.
Yeah, the twins were like, I was just like, okay, it's the same person.
Yeah. And then you meet your main characters, and I was like, oh, okay. I see.
There were way more interesting other teams.
Can we go back to the sadomasochistic team? Or maybe we can go back to Makoto? She looked really cool, the cross-dressing girl. Can we focus on her team?
She was the one I was the most interested in, because they just popped up, and it was like Mao, the cross-dressing, lady or whatever, and I was like, what?
Or what about the team that's like the two girls that just really want to try hard to win? It's like, yeah, those could be main characters. But no.
Yeah, not the actual main characters.
The episode after that basically follows the trend of, we spend 5 to 6 minutes on, we're not the same person, but they actually are the same person, basically.
Yeah.
That joke went on for way too long. And then, like, to cap it all off, I actually really appreciated how they were cutting back and forth to the race. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, because Redline did stuff like that, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a cool thing to do, and they clearly copied it from Redline, but hey, why not,
you should watch Redline, by the way.
It's a good movie.
It's a movie, and it's really good. It's about space racing.
But go ahead,
I was
Chase.
going to say, I'd much rather probably just spend more time watching Gundam than trying to watch more of the show.
So my biggest deal is that after we finally get to the point where we figure out that their motivation is that they both wanted to confess to the coach, and then neither of them could do it because the other one was there too, because they're literally the same person, just in two different bodies, which for some reason means they should be able to work together really well, but can't because they both are mad that the other one also has feelings for the coach, and then eventually decide to work together. They don't do anything different. All of a sudden, they're just faster.
That's anime logic.
Yeah, but I expect better.
It's just like in Super Robots, where he's like, "My will is strong," and like,
no, see there, they have more will though. They didn't seem to have more will. It was just that all of a sudden the accelerator went up.
How do you know these characters, their cars isn't driven off of like some form of like emotion?
That'd be cool. I'd be
like,
super down for that.
Maybe that's why there's the masochist team.
Yeah, that's
their car runs off of.
Make it about that. I want to see that series. And Makoto's whole thing is that she loves to dress in, or Mao is her name. I'm sorry, I keep calling her Makoto. Yeah. She looks like Melissa Mao, who is based off Makoto, and that's what I keep thinking of. But maybe her whole thing is that she loves cross-dressing, and that's what powers the engine. Like, give me that show!
We already came up with a better idea.
Because the whole thing of, we both realized that we love Coach. You already knew that, though.
Yeah.
We found that out, but you didn't. You both already were well aware of that fact.
You know, I'm not going to get into it, but some people hold grudges longer than others.
Yeah, but my thing is...
And no, don't forget.
Well, that's fine.
Pat knows what I mean.
That's fine. It's just like... It upsets me when somebody gets a power-up because the audience finds out about something.
Yeah.
And not because the characters do.
Ichigo.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the audience finds out that Ichigo learned visored powers, and now Ichigo's using visored powers.
This
that
is
kind of thing.
Shonen racing.
It kind of is, but it's the worst form.
In Redline, he's like, I want to go faster. Let me drop this into my NOS tank, and I'll go faster.
And then the whole thing of like, oh, they got out of the car, they're gonna hug. Oh, but maybe they're gonna kiss. They might. No, they just punch each other in the face. It's like, but if they were gonna do that, then why even get on the motorcycle together to begin with?
Yeah. I don't know. I might watch a little bit more just to see if he gets better and loses that, because maybe that's just their version of a hook. The people that want the drama.
Also, can we talk about the fan service?
Yeah, the fan service robot.
Like every single time we had to cut to like boot bounce. Also,
I don't need to watch a girl bend over to put on her racing uniform.
I don't mind fan service. Like I'll watch it. I'm a human male.
But the has to be good.
But the anime needs to be good. And they're in skin tight suits, so nothing should be bouncing. It's skin tight. There's no room for anything to move.
See, I don't have female organs, so I can't say anything about it. I don't know how that works.
It's literally zipped up the middle. What did they make that material out of that is flexible?
Well, they still have to be able to move.
I did not appreciate my first episode of 2-Car.
Me either. Like I said, I probably need to watch more. Maybe it'll get better. But if it doesn't get better, most of the time I have like a 5-episode anime rule.
Yeah.
5 to 10, depending on how invested I am in the anime.
See, I'm at a 4-episode rule normally, and then sometimes I finish them anyway, even if they're bad.
Why didn't you finish Handshakers?
So, my week with anime, I also watched 2-Car, as we talked about, but then I also watched Mahoutsukai no Yome.
Yeah, which looks super interesting.
The Ancient Magus' Wife. It is really good. I'm 2 episodes in, because there's only 3 now. And the basic premise is that, Patrick, you want to talk about a show that doesn't explain everything. Mahoutsukai no Yome explains exactly what it needs to. So you find out that your main character is this girl that has completely given up on living because she's got nowhere to go back to. She's got no family. She's got no way to provide for herself. Her options are sell herself into slavery or sell herself on the streets. And so she sells herself into slavery. And she's offered at an auction because it turns out she's actually what's called a slave beggy, which means she's a type of human that can see spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's purchased by this mage, this ancient mage, who has a skull head.
So do people bring it up, or do they just know, like, why he has it?
Oh, no, I don't know why he has a skull head.
Oh, really?
Nobody's explained that yet. He keeps telling her he'll tell her in time. Maybe. But he's a mage, and in this world, mages use spirits to cast magic.
Okay.
And so she's got a lot of talent, and so he scattered out originally as his apprentice. And then by the end of the first episode, he's told her that he wants to marry her.
Okay, that's quick.
Wow.
Yeah. Not because he loves her or anything, just because he's tired of being alone.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And she can't say no, so...
So how is her demeanor?
So at first she's dead inside, basically. Like, she's decided herself to this fate that everything's over and that she's going to get sold into a place where they're probably going to treat her badly, but at least she wanted to sell herself on the streets, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And she'll have food, so, she can live with that if it's a way to live.
Mm-hmm.
Except he's not a jerk. And so he's not, like, super mean
Like
to her or
sleeping.
anything.
It's like Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, except, in this case, the beauty is not locked in a tower against her will. She chose to be here.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a really funny scene early on where he forces her to take a bath and she just wants to. And so he strips her and puts her in the bath. And she's just like, oh, he's seen everything now. And he's just like, oh, I don't care. And just walks away. They have a really cool dynamic where, for her, he is the only person to ever want her to be around. And for him, he doesn't want to be alone anymore. So,
yeah.
I very much appreciate it. He's also a really interesting character in and of itself. He's got a lot of different people that he talks to, including this really cool priest. This priest has probably my favorite line in the entire show, which is, at one point, the girl, I'm trying to remember her name. Is it Chia? It might be Chia. Chise. I'm sorry, it's Chise. She makes a comment about how the mage, Ainsworth, is sending a lot of letters, and the priest says, yeah, if only God would send me a letter so I know what he's thinking every once in a while. And I was like, oh!
Appreciate that.
That's a really good line. So yeah, the characters are well written, the animation is breathtaking, and the OP is brilliant. There's a guy in the background of the OP just going, every once in a while.
That's all Trey's been doing. Like, I'll walk through and he'll be like,
it's so infectious, man. It's real good. So
I'm gonna have to check this out.
I absolutely recommend it. It's very rare.
How many episodes in are you?
I'm 2 episodes in. There's 3 right now. It's airing every week.
Okay.
There is an OVA, but I've been instructed not to watch the OVA because it's set after the anime.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't think they were going to be able to get an anime, apparently, and so they made the OVA, and the OVA was really popular, so now they're making an anime. It's based on a light novel series, of course, but I'm excited for more. So I definitely recommend that. Very rarely does something catch me like this and make me go, yes, I will watch more of this, no doubt. So
better than your show so far.
Yeah.
And then we each took a show that we weren't sure on, some of which were given to us by others. Patrick took Irae, Chase took Tukar, and then Patrick gave me Infini-T Force. And because it's CGI animation and we weren't sure how it was going to turn out. Patrick, you have never given me a better gift in my life.
No way.
The episode started, and I did not read the description. I want to remind you of that. I just said, okay, I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy I didn't read the description. Because the episode starts, and it's all CG, and the CG does not look bad, actually. It actually looks really good. At some parts, it looked like real life. I was amazed. Very rarely do I like CG in anime. But the episode starts, and this villain is trying to destroy the world. And I'm getting excited. Ken, from the main character from Gotcha Man, shows up and tries to stop him. And then it hard cuts to, like, present day in Japan, and there's this girl trying to kill herself. And she wants to kill herself to see whether or not she'll die by driving head-on into an intersection on her motorcycle and see if she comes out the other side. Because she no longer cares about her life. And you find out she does this every day.
Oh my goodness.
And she's completely dead inside, basically. Because her family's gone, but her dad is like still alive but never comes home. And he basically traps her inside her house so she can go out to go to school, and then she's got to come home. And there's like security cameras inside the house watching her at all times, and she can't have any friends. And she's like she's completely like divorced from the world, basically, including her sensibilities. She doesn't care about anybody. and she prefers death because death would get her out of it, but she can't bring herself to just kill herself, so she drives into traffic every day.
Wow.
And very early on in the first episode, it's super dark and super real in a really creepy way. But she used the line very early on, there's no such thing as heroes in this world. And then the guy that was trying to destroy the other world, Gatchaman and him are still fighting. And Ken knocks the big powerful sun that he's holding out of his hand, and it falls through the portal that he'd opened up to try and, throw everything into. And she swerves because she almost hits a truck, which proves that she actually doesn't want to kill herself deep down. And the guy who gets out of the truck is like, hey, are you okay? Like, let me help you up. And right as they do, this beam of light hits her. And it's the sun ball that the guy was holding. And it turns out it's a thing called the case. Mm-hmm. And it grants the wishes of anyone who has it. And guess what her deep-seated wish has been?
To die?
No, for there to be heroes in this world.
Okay.
So then, she doesn't know it yet, clearly. You can tell that she doesn't realize she's wishing for this. But then all of a sudden, monsters attack. And Ken shows up to try and protect her. And then the guy that almost hit her turns into Polymer, which is another, old anime tokusatsu series, like Power Ranger style is based on that, Super Sentai. So then you have Gatchaman and Polymer there, and then all of a sudden you just hear, Voltekka! And that's Chase, when you heard me screaming in here. Because Tekka-Man shows up, and Tekka-Man is there to help.
Tekka-Man?
Tekka-Man is there! And I'm fangirling at this point so hard. Because I had no idea that's what this series was. I didn't know this was a crossover. And it's actually really good, too. And so then you get to the end of the episode, and I was like, okay, so we got Gatchaman, we got Ken, and we got, Takeru, or Takashi, I'm sorry. We have, Polymer, and then we have Joji, we have Tekka-Man. It's like, is this gonna be it, or are we getting somebody else? And the episode ends with her walking outside, and there's Kashern with Friender! And I was like, oh my gosh!
You're saying names that I don't know.
That's okay, because I do.
I also don't know these names.
All I'm going to say is that in the second episode, Kashern gets taken over by the bad guys, and Polymer kicks Friender in the face. Frender's Kashern's robotic dog friend.
Wow.
I never knew I wanted to see Polymer kick Friender in the face until I saw it. I'm so happy. Patrick, this is the best birthday present you could have given me. Because, okay, so it's 3 episodes in.
Do you not think you ever would have found this show, if not?
No, because I had no reason to look for it. Infini-T Force doesn't tell me anything, because these characters haven't crossed over before.
Mm-hmm.
They have in a couple different offshoot games, but never like this,
Yeah.
Specifically because Kashern's super dark, and it would never cross over with, Gatchaman. Because Gatchaman is, the old-timey, animated Super Sentai. And so these characters are all from their own times, when their anime came out, basically. Or, where it's set at in time. So, Joji, Tekka-Man, he's from the future. So he's got a bunch of future tech and stuff. But Ken, Gatchaman, is from the past, from, the 70s. And so there's smartphones that he doesn't understand. And he's got these real antiquated views of women. And so the main character, Emi, at one point, Takeshi is like, you have any food? And Ken is just immediately like, Emi, you'll cook for us, right? And she's like, I don't know how to cook. He's like, what? And she's like, yeah, I don't know how to cook. He's like, all women know how to cook. And she says, that's a real bad way to look at things, Gramps.
That's good.
Man, there's so many great gags. And so then it's 3 episodes in. I've just finished the 3rd episode, right before we started doing this. And the characters all get a chance to use their special move. And while they're using their special move, their music plays.
Oh, so they even got the music.
So I got so hype. Chase, I don't know if you heard me yell Voltekka earlier or not.
I did.
But all I'm saying is Tekkaman got to use the Voltekka, and I'm very happy. So this is definitely a show I'm going to keep watching. The CG is breathtaking, by the way. I don't think I've ever seen CG that looks this good.
If only they would have done that CG for Berserk.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Man, there is a scene where the bad guy from Polymer is using magic to move a statue, and when he puts the new statue down, he steps behind it for just a second, and there's no characters on screen, right?
Yeah.
It's just the statue in the background, and it looks like a still frame of Tokyo.
That's cool.
It's great, man. This show is... If you have even a passing desire to know what Tokusatsu Sentai is, watch Infini-T Force. And if you already like Tokusatsu and Sentai, absolutely watch Infini-T Force, because everybody gets to be themselves. You have Ken, who is the scientific ninja. He's got the bird costume on. He's dodging things. He's throwing explosive shurikens. He's great. You've got Polymer, who is a guy who focuses on punching things, who can turn his body into different things using polymerization. You have Tekkaman, who is sitting there firing Voltekkas. He's using the Tech Lance. He's got his Blue Earth. Then you have Kashern, who has his guns that he uses to jump up into the air by shooting 6 times. He has Friender. He's got his explosives. Like, oh man, it's so good! I should stop now, because if I don't, I'll keep talking about it.
No.
You guys should watch Infini-T Force. The only thing I think is that the OP is good, but the ED is not that great. The ED, like, not even from just a music standpoint, I don't think the music that's great. I think the actual visuals are pretty bad. It's
Really?
just Emmy slowly spinning into frame.
Oh, that's not good.
Nope. I'm sorry. And the background is all just green behind her. So, it's real, it's a bad ED. Hopefully we get a better ED. But I could not be more excited for it. It's Infini-T Force.
And you said it's only 3 episodes in so far? Like, that's how many are out, or?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a 1-week thing also?
Yes, once a week. We basically discussed everything that we were going to discuss with these shows. What are you guys going to try again next week, and what are you going to adopt?
I don't like 2 cars.
I also don't like 2 Car. I don't know that I'm going to watch the second episode.
Obviously I'm going to stick with Gundam.
Yes.
I'll probably try and find something else. It might not be on the list. It might not be new. It might just be another anime.
Yeah.
That or try out the No Yome.
Yeah, you should absolutely watch Mahoutsukai no Yome. It's real good.
Mahoutsukai.
I really want to watch that as well.
You should. It's real good.
You know what you should watch, Pat? JoJo.
JoJo's also really good.
I think JoJo would take you way out of your comfort zone with anime.
Chase, I don't feel like you can recommend JoJo when you haven't got caught up either.
I finished the first and 2nd season, sir.
There's
them.
part 3 and part 4 are already out, sir.
They're
And they're
bad,
great.
though.
That's not true.
I don't like Josuke.
Sir, take that back.
I don't like him. He's
Take
a
that
loser.
back? You haven't even seen it.
He's a loser.
That's not true. But no, I agree, Patrick. When you want to start looking for something else, there's 2 other shows that I think you should watch. There's JoJo and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
I've seen some of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood already.
You should watch original Fullmetal Alchemist, not Brotherhood.
No, Brotherhood's definitely better, sir.
Get out of here, dude.
Are we actually about to have this conversation?
Let's go, champ.
Okay, so avoid spoilers entirely. Brotherhood has more characters that are introduced, has the better version of King Bradley, has the better version of Greed, has a brand new character that is way better than not existing at all, that interacts with Greed, and then has the better ending. They're the same up until episode 14.
So many important parts, though.
It doesn't, though. Those parts weren't skipped. They were not there in the manga. They were anime only.
Because I didn't read the manga. I watched the first original Fullmetal Alchemist, and I just think there's better parts in it than in Brotherhood. I will admit Brotherhood isn't is still good, I think I agree with the ending being better, but there's like so much that's not in it that was in the original that I think.
What, you get the other version of Wrath, and you get more stuff with their teacher?
You get the
Avoid
whole
spoilers.
Bury the Chopper arc.
That's not a full arc. That's
you get the
filler
whole
for the
Bury
most
Chopper
part.
thing, and I loved that.
I agree that stuff's good, but you can also just watch Brotherhood and then go back and watch Bury the Chopper stuff.
I guess you can. Don't put this in the thing.
No, absolutely. The viewers will want to have they'll want to weigh in their thoughts.
I just like the original a lot. I might just
do too,
because it's the whole we're gonna go back to the Pokemon Supremist thing, but it's just what I watched first. I will admit there are some cool stuff like oh man, how can I forget his name?
Everything to do with Envy is so much better in Brotherhood too.
What I've completely forgot his name. Armstrong.
Yeah.
To meet his family. So
yep, absolutely you do.
I like that part a lot.
I will say that I think Sloth was done better in original.
Sloth, yeah.
Sloth looked cool, but was.
And
I guess
I'm
we should
happy-
stop talking about it now for Patrick's
And I'm
sake.
happy they did more. Yeah, let's.
Patrick's over here just like, I don't know what they're talking about.
For me,
I'll just tell you this, Pat. Hold up. I'll just tell you this, Pat. Hughes, Dad of the Year.
Hughes is the best character.
dad ever.
Absolutely, best character in that show.
for me, I don't see myself continuing
Irae?
Irae unless this next episode really gets me. I'm still partially intrigued, but man, I don't know, man. I sit there and I'm watching it and I'm just like, I can't even tell if this is something I can continue to get through. I'll have to let you know next week, to be honest. That's
If you
all I can say.
if you want an anime that doesn't make sense half the time but is really fun just to watch, you should watch K Project. A lot happens, and it's got really good music.
Should read the manga for My Hero Academia.
Yeah, you should. You absolutely should.
Yeah, I need to.
But all right, we have been the Full Spectrum. Do you guys have any closing thoughts about what we watched in anime this week?
Watch anime. If you're not, give it a shot, man.
If you listen to this whole thing and you've never seen an anime before,
You need to.
watch Infini-T Force. You'll love it.
See, I don't know. Should someone start with CG anime?
I mean, it's okay because this CG's real good.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
This is like Gundam the Origins used the CG. It looks good. Most of the
Gundam
time.
Origins used this CG?
Yeah, for the mobile suits.
And for the trains?
No, don't watch Handshakers, please. Please don't watch Handshakers.
I wish Two Cars would have done more for me. I was kind of looking forward to it because it's going to be my like second racing style anime, I guess, if you count Redline.
Just watch Yowamushi Pedal. It's way better.
I'll just watch One Punch Man and hang out with Moomin Rider.
Yeah, I mean, that also works. He also uses a bike, so.
I like Moomin Rider.
All right, well, you've heard our recommendations and our anti-recommendations. I've been Trey.
I've been Chase.
And I've been Patrick.
We have been the Full Spectrum, and we'll be back next week for another exciting edition of the Anime Roundup. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that anime has to offer. Voltekka!
Oh, God.
Yeah.